you guys. Good morning on this snow day. Thank you for joining me. This is Stella, for those of you who don't know her. So Storm was named after little Stella Bear. So we're going to keep this super fun, super casual this morning. We are going to do some core yoga. Good stretch, Luna. And we're going to do some stretches for your hips and for your hamstrings. That's good to do, you know, for shoveling. In general, it's good to always have a strong core, but when you're shoveling, you know, it's good to engage your core muscles. Hopefully your kids and your animals will be joining you. And we're going to start with a little core work to begin with. So go ahead and just lie down on your back. And if your animals are crawling all over you, well, you know what? They think it's all about them, and that's okay. So lie down on your back. You're just going to rest your hands onto your stomach. Close your eyes, and let's just start by taking 3 deep breaths in and out of your nose. So with your hands resting on your belly, you'll feel the belly rise and fall with a breath in and out. And 3 breaths sometimes is all it takes to just kind of settle in and chill out. So take the biggest breath that you can in through your nose. And exhale completely. Make sure you're really emptying your lungs and feeling your shoulders and your jaw relax with your exhale. And do that 1 or 2 more times. So huge breath in, feel your belly fill with air and your hands float up with the breath in. And long, slow exhale, relaxing tension from your shoulders, hips, face, neck, and jaw. So like I said, we're going to start with a little abdominal work and some core work to begin as our warm-up. So go ahead and just take your hands behind your head. Make sure your elbows are really wide, your chest and your shoulders are open, and make sure your toes are together to touch and your knees are together to touch. Now I just want you to squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. You guys scooch out of the way. As you squeeze your inner thighs towards each other, squeeze your ankles together, squeeze your knees together, feel your abdominal wall engage, and then press the lumbar curve of your spine into the floor, flattening your back. And I know you can't see me right now, but let's do that again. Inhale, drop your tailbone down, lift your ribcage a little bit up. That's more of a neutral spine, so your hands could slide under your back. And then exhale, squeeze the inner thighs, squeeze the knees together, press the low back flat into the floor, and feel your abdominal wall engage. Okay? Super easy. Let's do it one more time. It's a great way to release your back. Inhale. And exhale, engage the abdominal wall, press your low back flat into the floor. So later on, like I'm not going to be shoveling until probably 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock after the storm ends, but these are great things to do after you shovel as well. So with the abdominal wall engaged, hands behind your head, we're just going to exhale, lift up, and you're going to try to shimmy your shoulder blades up as high from the floor as you can. And then you're going to bring your right shoulder in the direction of your left knee. So we go super slow with these yoga exercises. It's not about how many repetitions you're doing. It's actually better to go super slow. You're going to recruit more muscle fiber. So really lift the shoulder to the opposite knee. Come back to center, lift up a little bit higher, and then lower down. Let's switch and do the same thing on the other side. So you're going to breathe in, exhale, lift up, get as high as you can. Bring the right knee up, left shoulder to right knee, rotating the spine. Hold it there. Get that shoulder up as high from the floor as you can. And then come back to center, lift a little bit higher, and then lower back down. We're just going to keep alternating. So you exhale to lift and rotate, come to center a little bit higher, and lower down. And actually, these are a little bit more Pilates-inspired exercises, which I love to do. I was trained in Pilates years ago, and I love to incorporate some Pilates exercises with yoga because not only is it great for alignment, but it's so great for core. So let's do a couple more. Really lift from your shoulder. Come to center a little bit higher, lower down, and one more time on each side. So lift, twist and hold, center a little bit higher, lower down. This is your last one. I'm already getting warmer. Twist and center and lower down. Good job. So now I want you to practice what we already did the warm up. You're going to press your low back flat into your mat, feel your abdominal wall flatten, and then just lift your knees up so that your knees are right out over your hips. It's called tabletop in Pilates. You can relax your hands down by your side. Your nose is pointing straight up to the ceiling once you get the exercise so the neck is neutral. And you're just going to tap your right toe to touch the floor. Exhale, keep the abdominal wall engaged and lift the knee back out over the hip. And switch sides. Lower and tap. Now just make sure the movement is only coming from your hip. It's not coming from your knee. So in other words, I don't want you going like this You know, I want it coming just from the hip. At the same time, you're keeping the abs engaged the whole time, so your spine's not moving. Now, if that's feeling okay on your back, I want both toes to lower down. Keep that spine neutral. Exhale, flatten your abdominal wall, and bring it back up to center. So if you're doing okay with this, and your back again isn't feeling tweaky, you can challenge yourself even more by straightening your legs. Okay, so join me if you want to with straight legs, reach through your toes. And by the way, you can take your hands under your hips if you want to. Your legs will lower all the way down to the floor, and then exhale, lift all the way back up. So we're gonna do like 8 to 9 more of these. Any variation that you can do, and feel free to rest anytime you need to. But of course, I want you to challenge yourself. Like, get a little uncomfortable, it's okay. Strengthen those abs, and make sure you're using your breath too. So you're gonna inhale, lower down, exhale, flatten your abs, and lift back up. So you don't wanna use any momentum, okay, no swinging. Do the best you can to really control it down and up. How about 3 more? So again, bent knee variation is all good. Last 2, inhale, reach through your toes. So really long legs, really point your toes. Exhale, lift it back up. 1 more time, just like that. Inhale, really strengthen those abs. Exhale, lift back up, and hug your knees to your chest. Good job. Okay, so now we're gonna do a rotational exercise. Your arms can be out into a wide T position, and your palms can either be facing up, or you can turn them down if you feel like you want a little bit more stability. Knees are out over hips, just like the exercise that we just did. You're gonna take an inhale first, so you always want to inhale to prepare. You're going to exhale, drop your knees to the right. You're going to extend your left leg out straight, really reaching through your toes. Bend your knee, and then bring it back to center. Okay? Let's do the other side. So drop over to your left, reach through your toes, and then bend your top knee and bring it back to center. Okay, let's switch and do it again. So if that's feeling okay for you, I would like to challenge you to straighten both legs. Bend your knees and bring it back to center. Inhale to drop. Exhale to reach through your toes. That's an interesting angle there from the camera. Come all the way back to center. 1 more time on each side. This is amazing for your obliques. Rotational exercises are so good to recruit the muscles that rotate the spine. Okay, important part of the core. Last one here. Really reach through those toes, wiggle them out, bend your knees, and bring it back to center. Good job. You can rock and roll yourself up and make your way to child's pose. So, sitting your hips back onto your heels, come all the way to child's pose, and let your forehead rest down onto your mat. Take a deep breath in and out. And then go ahead and shift your weight forward and come to plank pose. So plank is one of the best exercises for core stabilization. So we are gonna do a little forearm planking and a little full plank. Just make sure your hands are right underneath your shoulders. You have a straight line from your elbows to your wrists to your shoulders. Pull your belly in and walk your toes all the way together to touch so you can really squeeze to the midline. Take a huge breath in, and then as you bend your elbows, let them slide right by your ribcage. You can bend your knees on the way down too. So now, I want you to interlace your fingers right behind your tailbone, and we're gonna strengthen the back of the body. So I want you to bring your big toes together to touch. Squeeze your palms together. And just as we strengthen the front of the body as part of your core, the back of your body is equally important. So now we wanna strengthen all the muscles along your spine. Take a deep breath in. Lift a little bit higher if you can. Try to create length as you lift. And then lower back down, slide your hands under your shoulders, and counter pose in child's pose. So sitting your hips back onto your heels, let your forehead rest to the mat. And let's do it again. So you're gonna inhale, come to plank, curl your toes under. And again, just for today, make sure your toes are touching in your plank, because then you can really squeeze your inner thighs towards each other. Pull your belly in and up, really press to your palms, strengthen your whole body. Take 1 more breath. And then if you wanna bend your knees, feel free. Otherwise, with straight legs, lower all the way down. Second time for locust. So we're gonna do 3 all together. Interlace your fingers right behind your tailbone. Lift it up. So when you're shoveling, it's a lot of hunching, and most of what we do every day makes us hunch. So this locust exercise right here is something that you could do really every day to keep your back strong and flexible. 1 more breath, lift a little bit higher, and again, think of lengthening as you lift. Lower down, hands under shoulders, child's pose, push back. Breathe into your low back and get that good stretch. And then one more time, same thing, shift forward, curl your toes, squeeze your legs straight, squeeze your inner thighs together and feel the connection from your inner thighs all the way up through the pelvic floor and into the abdominal wall. It's all connected. Shift into your toes, bend your elbows, lower to the mat. Third time, locust pose. Interlace your fingers, lift up. Now listen, if you're really warm and your back's okay, you can come into bow pose here instead of locust by grabbing the tops of the feet and kicking the tops of the feet gently into the hands is going to open your chest and your shoulder. Both shoulders and both chests. Take one more breath, lift up and lower down, hands under shoulders, push yourself back and stretch into child's pose. Feels so good. And then go ahead and make your way all the way up to your hands and knees, and we're just gonna do easy cat-cow. And again, this is an awesome thing to do. If you're gonna shovel later in the day, do this before you shovel. So very simple, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, tilt your tailbone up to the ceiling, pull your shoulders back from the ears. I'll turn to the side so you can see. This is cow. And then exhale, tuck your tailbone, round your spine, hollow your belly, and push the mat away from you, the floor. Inhale, open. Lift the tailbone, shrug the shoulders back. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the spine, bring your chest to your chest, and create a C curve. 2 more times just like that. Inhale, open, exhale, flex and round. And this is your last one. Inhale, open. Exhale, flex and round. Good. So a little bit more for core stabilization here. And this is all levels. I'm trying to keep it really pretty moderate for everyone. You're welcome to do more advanced if you're feeling inspired to do that. I want you to go ahead and kick your right leg straight out, push through your heel, pull your belly in and up, and then take your left arm and stretch it straight forward. So your left arm is going to be right by your left ear, and you're going to lift your left thumb up to the ceiling. Pull your belly in and up and really kick through your heel. So if you've got this, this is spinal balance. Again, a great simple core strengthener. You're going to bend your right knee and reach back and see if you can grab your right foot with your left hand, okay? If you can find your foot with your hand, you're going to kick your toes into your hand and stretch your toes up to the sky. This is such a great quad stretch. It's a great balance pose, so you might feel a little weeble wobbly. And core strengthener. Take one more breath. And release back to spinal balance. And then bring the elbow and the knee towards each other, tuck and round your spine. Good, reach forward and back again. And then place your hand and your knee down and let's switch sides. So left leg straight back, pull the belly in and up, push the floor away with your left hand, stretch your right arm straight forward, thumb to the ceiling, right arm by the ear, flex through that left heel, and then really pull the belly in and up. And if you've got this, go ahead and reach back, see if you can find your foot with your hand, and if you can't, don't stress about it, it's not a big deal, but if you do have that connection, kick your foot into your hand and stretch up. Such a great stretch for your shoulder, the front side of your right shoulder, and your left hip flexor, right? Take one more breath. It helps if you focus your eyes, by the way. That's going to help you with your balance. And then go ahead and release back into spinal balance. Really stretch through your right hand, flex through your left heel, and then tuck and round. Hollow the belly, touch your elbow to your knee if you can, and release. Good. Now we're going to do forearm plank. So go ahead and bring your elbows all the way down so that the elbows are right underneath your shoulders. Your knees can be bent for now. And then you're going to go ahead and straighten your legs and make sure that your hips are down in line with your shoulders. So you're one straight line from the crown of the head to the heels. And then you're going to pivot into the left forearm and stretch your right hand straight up to the ceiling. So ideally, you're a straight line from the shoulder to the hip to the heel. Such a great core strengthener. Let's take 3 breaths. And if you can, look up to your right thumb. Take one more breath and square off to forearm plank. Now when you're in your forearm plank, toes together, knees together, squeeze your inner thighs, and then pivot to the right forearm. So as you pivot, just try to create that straight line. Send your left hand up to the sky. Look up to your left thumb if you can. Lift your left hip bone even higher. Take one more breath. And square off. Good, hold forearm plank. Squeeze your inner thighs, pull your belly in, hang in there with me. And release down. Good. We're going to come to camel pose next. Hopefully you can see me for this. Let me adjust just a little bit. So come to a high kneeling position. I'll back up a little. Get Luna in here. So you want your knees right underneath your hips, and you're gonna come all the way up to kneeling. If your knees are really sensitive, by the way, you can be on a carpeted floor helps, or you can roll your mat up. Take your hands right behind your sacrum, and then lift and open your chest, back bending and opening your heart. Again, this is such a great thing to do after you do gardening or shoveling. So you don't want to over back bend. You don't want to throw your head back. You just want to lean back and open the front of the body. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and come out of it, and you can rest in child's pose. So the reason I have you rest in child's pose after these back bends is because it's the opposite, right? It's good to do the back bend, and then it's good to release the back. So go ahead and rest in child's pose, and this time, bring your hands back by your feet, and turn your palms to face up. And just take a moment to take 3 deep breaths in and out through your nose. So you can really just take a moment to chill out and recover, because we are going to do a little bit more core work. So take one more deep breath and really see if you can send the breath into the low back. It's like send it all the way to the kidneys and to the lowest part of the lungs. And as you exhale, see if you can relax your shoulders and your jaw a little bit more. And then go ahead and come all the way up to plank, okay? So now we're gonna do a modification of plank, and we're gonna come into fallen triangle. Let me scooch away a little bit like this, so hopefully you can see me better. So come to your full plank, and all you're gonna do is shift into downward facing dog to begin with. So from plank to downward dog, and in your downward dog, let's go ahead and separate the feet hip bone distance apart, so about 5-6 inches apart. Okay, drop your heels. In fact, let's get a good calf stretch. Bend your left knee, drop your right heel, and then bend your right knee, drop your left heel, and just go ahead and pedal it out. But really bring the attention to the hands and make sure you're pressing down evenly through all parts of your hands. And then let that pedaling slow down and drop both heels. So we're gonna shift from downward dog to plank. So shifting forward so that the shoulders align over the hips, pull the belly in and up, and imagine that you're lifting up from your core into downward facing dog. Shift forward, and you can certainly do this on your knees too. And you're gonna go ahead and shift back into downward facing dog. If you're modifying, you'd shift into a kneeling plank and into child's pose. So that's a fine way to modify if you feel like you can't do the full version. Let's do 2 more. So shifting into plank, use your core to lift you back up. And now what I want you to try, if you're willing, is instead of shifting to plank, you're gonna shift into upward facing dog onto the tops of your feet. Such a great back bend and a chest opener. Exhale, use your core to lift you back up and land in downward dog. Let's do 2 more just like that. So inhale, shift forward, flip to the tops of the feet, open the heart, get a good breath, and then use your abs. Your core lifts you back up. Downward facing dog. This is your last one. Inhale, do the best you can with this. Finish it up. And exhale, core lifts you. Okay, so from there, you're gonna take let's start with your left leg. So I'll be able to face you. Left leg's gonna lift to the sky. And then left knee comes to right elbow. This is a great core plank variation. Left knee, right elbow. Try to touch the elbow if you can. From here, you're gonna step your foot out and flip your palm up. This is pretty challenging. Do the best you can with it. If you wanna modify, by the way, knee can be bent and right here. Great modification, okay? Otherwise, you're here in fallen triangle. Look up to your right thumb, 1 more breath, and then square off to your mat, okay? Bend your elbows, half or all the way down. You can bend your knees here too. Cobra or upward facing dog. I did an upper body workout yesterday, and can I just tell you, my arms are shaking. Paige, I know you're feeling that too. We did a cross training yesterday. Okay, let's do the other side. Right leg up, and then right knee to left elbow. You hold that, and then you're gonna step that right foot out to the side and stretch your left hand up. Now, if you're modifying, knees down, and you're in this modified version of side plank. Look up to your left thumb, either way. I hate turning my back to you. Take one more breath. And square off. Squeeze your inner thighs, engage your core. Bend your elbows half or all the way to the mat. Back bend with a breath in. And then downward facing dog. Good job. So let's repeat that. So left leg up, we'll go a little faster. Left knee to right elbow, hang in there. Step it out to the side, modified or fallen triangle, look up to your right thumb. Square off to your mat. Bend your elbows half or all the way to the mat. Deep breath in with your back bend. And downward facing dog. As you exhale, right side, right leg lifts. Right knee to left elbow. Step that foot out, fallen triangle or modified side plank. Either way, look up to your left thumb. Square off to your mat. Bend your elbows, lower down. Inhale, cobra or upward facing, deep breath, and downward facing. Third and final set. Inhale, lift. Exhale, over. Last challenging little sequence here. Lift up, square off, lower down, deep breath in. Rest if you need to, it's okay. Downward facing. Last time, right leg lifts. Knee to elbow. Modified side plank or fallen triangle. Look up to your left thumb. Square off. Last vinyasa. Bend your elbows. Cobra or upward facing. And one more time, downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths, you guys. Inhale. Exhale. Drop your heels. Again, inhale. And exhale. Press through the hands, drop the heels, relax your head. One more time. Deep breath in. And long, slow exhale. And then we're going to do pigeon stretch next. So go ahead and bring the right knee to the right wrist. So I promised you some hip stretches. So here we go. Point your left toes and slide your left foot as far back as you can. Bring your forearms down to the mat. So this is just a great way to release tension from the largest muscle group and joint in the body, our hip. So you're welcome to stay right here and rock a little bit from side to side if you're feeling really tense in that muscle group. And then go ahead and slow to stillness. And again, if you're feeling it a lot, you're probably just going to stay right here. But if you want to kind of go back to this variation that we were using earlier for our warm-up, you can add a quad stretch to it. So all that means is you're going to bend your left knee and reach back and grab the top of your left foot with your right hand. Now again, if that is straining for you in any way, or it's just a little bit out of your reach today, it's all good. Like, let it go and just come back here, because less is more very often. Okay, either way, let's take one more breath. And go ahead and release it all the way down. Now, from here, we're gonna get a double pigeon. So I want you to just sit over to your right hip. So your right hip is dropping all the way down. And then just swing your left foot out and around in front of you so that your left shin is out in front of your right shin, okay? And so for a lot of you, you're just gonna stay right here because this is gonna be plenty on your hips and your back. But for others who are a little bit more open, you can bring that left foot on top so that you're more in like fire log, appropriate for today, or double pigeon. Hands are gonna come out in front of you either way. And then you just walk your hands as far forward as you can and let the weight of your head just relax down, okay? Let's take 3 huge breaths in and out through your nose. Just walk those fingertips a little bit further forward. Drop tension from your neck and your shoulders. and stretch your hips. So for a lot of you, you've been following me. I've been doing 25 days of wellness tips for warriors. And I'm also doing like a little mini detox challenge for these 3 days. Now, I didn't know when I planned it that we were gonna get a snowstorm. And yesterday, Chef Paige and I were at Wegmans, and that was hilarious, trying to film a segment in Wegmans pre-storm. But I just want to encourage you to join me for this little mini challenge. I'm not going to follow all the rules either. I'm going to just go with what feels good for me. You can get the recipes for this little mini challenge in my bio link on my Instagram page, or you can go to my blog to get it. This is day 1, core yoga and clean eating. Tomorrow again, more core yoga, more clean eating, and then Thursday is the last day of this little mini challenge. Go ahead and sit up and make your way into seated butterfly. So you're gonna grab onto the ankles, press the elbows into the knees, and gently press yourself open so you're getting a good stretch to the groin and the inner thighs. Let your forehead drop down in the direction of your feet. And let's take 3 breaths here. And then go ahead and sit yourself all the way back up and make your way into downward facing dog. So from downward facing dog, you want to take a couple deep breaths in and out through the nose. If you want to do a little half flow vinyasa, feel free to do that as well. Otherwise, just stay in your downward dog. And then we'll get pigeon on the other side. So left knee to left wrist. Right knee drops down. Just slide your right toes back. So as you slide this foot back, you get a little bit more into the hip joint. Again, the hips are the biggest joint in the body, biggest muscle group in the body. So they do hold a lot of tension, as do the shoulders. All right, let's take 3 breaths here. So this segment today, just a half an hour. And I got a little bit warm, okay, partly because of the fire. But I hope you also really engaged your core muscles and you're getting a good stretch now. So just really try to relax and let go. If you want to add that half bow variation or king pigeon, you're going to reach back and grab the top of your right foot with your left hand. And again, if that's not comfortable for you, if that strains you in any way, then you just come back out of it and you just stay in regular half pigeon. Either way, let's take 1 more breath. And go ahead and release out of it. So you can swing then over to your left hip, bring your right foot out and around in front of you so that it's either crossed right shin in front of left shin, or if you are a little bit more open, you can stack your ankles and knees on top of each other. Walk your hands forward. This is such a great one to do at the end of the day when you maybe have the TV on and you need a little bit of stretching. You just get off the couch and do a few stretches on the floor. It can make a huge difference. See if you can breathe a little bit deeper and walk your fingertips a little further out. Drop the weight of your head and breathe into your low back. Again, if you're joining me for the 3-day challenge, there's recipes included with it. So it's yoga and superfood recipes. You can sign up for my e-newsletter too, and you'll automatically get the recipes and a chapter of my book actually too. So sign up for my e-newsletter if you haven't already done that. You'll get the 5 recipes to bust your sugar addiction. Go ahead and lift all the way up from that. Let's do butterfly again. So you're going to uncross your legs, bring the bottoms of your feet together to touch. Scooch a little forward, grab onto your ankles. Bring the elbows into the creases of your knees and then just let the forehead drop down. Release tension, and a gentle push from your elbows into your knees will get you a deeper stretch. Take 1 more breath. Exhale completely, go a little deeper if you can. And then go ahead and sit yourself all the way up. You can bring your knees together to touch. We're gonna lie down on our back for a short Shavasana. So, or stay sitting if you prefer. So either sitting straight up on a pillow or not, or lie all the way down onto your back. So this will just be like a 2-minute Shavasana. You can extend your legs all the way out straight, turn your palms to face the ceiling, relax your eyes closed. I want you to just walk your shoulders slightly in to the midline and slightly down from your shoulders, lying on your back, because that just lifts and opens your heart a little bit. Keeping your palms turned up, relaxing your eyes closed. Take those 3 deep breaths that we began our practice with. Inhale, and long, slow exhale. And see if you can soften and relax a little bit. So if you happen to have the day off today, taking this opportunity out to take care of your body is such an amazing thing to do. So send yourself a little gratitude for the time that you carved out of your busy schedule for a little self-care today. One more deep breath in and all the way out. And just find yourself settle into a moment of stillness. Enjoy that sense of peace. Let the work that you did over the last half hour settle into your body. Let the calm, slow sensation of the breath slow everything down, sending a calming message through your central nervous system, activating the parasympathetic nervous system to rest and deeply restore the mind, body, and spirit. And then you are welcome to stay here for as long as you like for Shavasana. Otherwise, go ahead and wiggle your fingers and your toes around. Bring the energy back into your hands and your feet. You have plenty of time, but when you're ready, pull your knees into your chest, give yourself a hug, and roll over onto one side, resting your head onto your arm. And then from there, pressing yourself all the way up to sitting, and just bring your attention to your posture. So again, if you are shoveling today, and very soon we'll be gardening, all of those movements do bring us forward. So you just want to have awareness that your ears, your shoulders, and your hips are aligned, and that's ultimately the practice of yoga, is to bring us into better alignment and to allow us to breathe a little bit more deeply, right? So just have that awareness of your spinal alignment, your posture lifted. Go ahead and bring your hands together at heart center. We'll finish our practice with a deep breath in. Stretch your arms all the way out and up. Make the biggest circle that you can. Look up, watch your palms touch, big stretch. Pull your ribs up and off of your hip bones. And exhale, bring your hands back to heart center. So Mother Nature has blessed us with this little opportunity this morning to share and to practice yoga together. So thank you so much for joining me. Again, you can follow me at Flexible Warrior on Instagram and of course on Facebook, where you are right now. Join me for the challenges. There's one this week and one next week. And I'm offering my first online program called a Spring Supercharge. It starts on April 1st. And so if you'd like to sign up for that, there's lots of information on my website, flexiblewarrior.com. So thanks, you guys. Have an awesome day. Stella, come here. Stella. And you have Stella to thank for this, because the storm is named after little Stella Bear. All right, you guys, have a good day. Bye.